So in this video, we're going to work with another compositing, and we're going to use the overlay mode for the compositing. Overall, let's look on different type of the how we can isolate the object and put it in. Again, this is portion when I'm going over some of my techniques, how we done, as well as the lighting. If you don't like it, you can always skip to the part where we're actually going to work with a model. But if you're interested, why do I select specific light or specific background, you can stick around and we're going over this right now. So overall, you'll notice right here, usually from my experience, I found out two backgrounds for the overlay or for the compositing work very well. It is somewhat 50% gray kind of background, or for overlay, if I want with clouds and everything, more like a dark kind of gray, crush it background, because it's a blend very well. Why does it happen? Let's look in a second. Usually when we do compositing, you take a model and you isolate it. So you can go inside and you can isolate model from background by using the pen tool or using magic wand or whatever you like it, the lasso, whatever. Idea of this, that you isolated the object from background so you can easy to integrate it later in your compositing. With the overlay mode, we don't need this, and actually in some cases it will benefit us not to isolate object because we can easier blend edges. And blend edges, for example, right here we're going to use it soft light as a blend mode. And let's look what we have. Right here we have our background. And notice right now it's on soft light, so it's the normal. And if we're going on soft light, it's blending with a brighter. Keep it 50%, it's no change, and darker get darker. You can see how it's changed. So it's kind of works start together. What we usually do, we'll have it background set to this case and white %, and we can use it our brush to blend some elements, to blend our background to our model. Of course, with our background is more gray, not dark, we'll have it the best result for this, for the blending. Let's also look a little bit on the lighting, what is set there. So if we look on our model, you'll notice we do definitely have it one soft box and we have some strip box. It does provide us directional lighting in this case, so we know from what direction main light going. In some cases, it may benefit, sometimes don't. What I do in main cases, I'm just setting up lights like around here, where you can see we have it two strip boxes and one main light, which you can always take and adjust as you're shooting, left, right, or go straight in the middle. It's up to you. But the goal is this, is creating a rim light to isolate our object and minimize effect of directional light, so we can easy afterwards to going inside the Photoshop and using multiply or soft light or overlay mode, add shadows to our subject, because we easy can add shadows than highlights inside Photoshop. So this is very generic setup, rim lights to isolate edges and use it our main light to create a light main point of the light like sun or other things. So in this case, what we're going to do, we're going to use this image, and it's shot on camera R5, I think, yep, with 24 f4.2. Usually I use it the aperture a little bit higher, maybe about 8, 12, 16 sometimes. The reason is I want the sharper edges is possible, because I always can soften them after in post, but it's easy to isolate, but we'll keep it this way. By the way, by using overlay mode, we don't need to worry too much about edges because we don't use a pen tool or magic wand to isolate this. This has given us quite a bit of flexibility. So, and actually right here we can see it's f11 aperture was, so we preset and it's 31mm setup, so it was a little bit wide angle. Let's go ahead and we'll just double time click to open that image inside the camera raw. At this point in camera, what I want to do, it is take my highlights, and you know what, let's go to zoom out a little bit here. Okay, we'll go zoom out just on about this spot. Notice right here we have very bright lights. For me to take highlights down, I want to recover some of this information. It is still be there because we shot in camera raw, and we can take our highlights and bring it down. The problem when we do this, overall, we'll lose highlights on a skin that is still not overexposure, which we're going to recover in a second. And then next, also I want to take my shadows, and you can see we can bring shadows just a little bit up, not too much. Anytime when you introduce more shadows, you will introduce more digital noise. Let's go bring sharpen about 60-70 to restore original. In some cameras, for example, like Canon's, they have an anti-aliasing built in our inner lenses. So some cameras like Nikon does not have it, but in this case, I want to restore it. But now, as I mentioned before, we introduce some flatness. You can see to the, oops, that's the wrong one, this one. In the skin, you can see highlights because we're done. So in this case, we go to color mix, luminosity tab, and we'll take orange and just bring a little bit on the orange to restore, and a little bit on the red to restore the highlights in our skin. Also in the optic tab, you notice right here we have remove chromatic abbreviation and user profile. Notice that I'm working with a 16-bit depth and I'm working in sRGB. Usually I'm working with Adobe RGB. However, some plugins that I'm using work only in sRGB mode right now. So for now, I'm using sRGB's color space. Click OK. And when done, we'll go click OK and open this image inside the Adobe Photoshop. Okay, let's zoom out and we'll look at our image. Overall, you can see it is background 50% gray. You don't necessarily have it 50% gray because if we go back right here, you can notice our background is actually Arctic white, but because we don't cast any lighting on this, it's only ambient lights, it becomes the gray color. So usually it's what I shoot. It is on a white background without any lighting up background in this case. And like other image, if we look right here, it's look very dark gray, in this case right here, and this is actually gray color, but because again no lighting cast, it's become look as a dark gray. So just keep this in mind as you're going. Okay, let's go back in our Photoshop, and the first step what I want to do, it is touch up on a model before we do. Let's analyze what we have at first. And you can notice right here we have some text that we need hide. By the way, I cannot find the sci-fi helmet that look like 1950, so I made my own. And this is from Lamppost, the bucket from I think Lowe's or Home Depot bucket. This is paint cup. So I just put it together, spray paint, and I think it's come up okay. But because of this, I did not remove it. I should remove those probably names. So that will, my next step will be to do remove some of those names, and then we'll kind of use it. But for now, we need to hide these elements. We also have some LED inside, but I don't think they will produce enough light. So then it's needed. We will need it add some lighting inside the helmet around the head. And right here we have a soft box. You can definitely see it. So we'll fix this to create just lighting, maybe from sun, lights coming, replace this with a sun and some other elements. I think it is good. At this point, I want to touch up on remove some blemishes. We'll go create a new layer. Let's go call it touch up. Okay. And we'll just going to take simple spot healing brush tool. And I'm just going to use it with this one. So let's go get closer, and you'll notice like this one look kind of ugly, so let's go, oops, maybe just touch up a little bit. Don't worry too much because this one will go actually hide. But what I'm going to remove, I actually like to leave some elements on the skin. However, in this case, it will be more as a poster, like from 1950s look. So we need it smooth out, like almost airbrushed face. It's what we're going to do. And also right there from helmet scratch. Okay, let's go just to fix it this little bit. Nose, some small details, you know, the one that don't give it any information, but they also kind of give us a little bit distractions. What's going on there? Okay, right, like with this line. There you go. Okay, and what's happening when you have a clear helmet? Doesn't matter if it's made from acrylic, whatever. After time, it starts get scratchy. You can also going over and replace some of those stitches, you know, if you feel a little bit unnecessary, but I think they work just fine. Maybe right here, this one, I don't like it. So we'll just go and, okay, we could also just replace, kind of blend together this area. I do like stitching there, we'll leave it same, but we can go around. Let's go right here. You can see it is name, which is we can easy remove it. Okay, also let's remove a little bit right there elements. And tell you true, I'm actually redoing this helmet all the way. Okay, let's continue removing, and yeah, so the helmet just changing, adding more some LED lights, reworking actually on this nose piece to make it more interesting. You know, and that's what happened. You just start creating and you add more and more stuff there. Okay, almost done here, and let's go. There you go. Okay, let's zoom out, and usually we'll just check if anything else do we need. I think this is look good, except maybe right there we have it from the toy gun, so we'll just go fix this way. Okay, after when we're done, let's go to zoom out, and I want to just add now a little bit smoothness to some object, like right here. Actually, you know what, before this, when I zoom out, I can see a little bit shadowing going on the cheek. We even fix this later, but I still want to create like almost airbrush it. Okay, so let's go ahead, press Ctrl Shift Alt E, Command Option Alt E on a Mac to create new layer, and we'll call it smooth for the smoothness. And we'll go to filter, noise, and we'll go dust and scratches. This way it will help us to kind of remove small details. Amount of the radius is based on the image. Usually if we check right here, you can see these elements, we still have some shadowing, like right here break, so we want to increase till we have the nice and smoother look, and it's depend on the resolution of your image. I still like sharp image, but I think this is look very good. So go ahead, click OK, and usually the smaller image, definitely you'll need it less, and for the bigger, like portraits close up, then you need it bigger value. Okay, let's go ahead, hold down Alt or Option and click on a mask, so it will create black mask for that, and hiding. At this point, we can take our brush, be sure it says to 10% opacity, and we want to use soft round brush. Then we start kind of painting in the elements where we're smoothing. The one thing, keep in mind that we try to avoid some elements like eyes, lashes, other stuff. Some elements we want to smooth it, and all what it does, it's reduce amount of the micro texturing on our skin or wherever we applied. And if we look, you can see before and after, just slightly smoothing. be careful with this, because these techniques will you actually lose details, what happened here, and we don't want to lose some textures. So we're going ahead and check on our mask. You can see with eyebrows, lips, some of those elements is avoided. Okay, usually just face, skin, maybe a little bit on the ear, but there you go. And of course, when we zoom out, you can preview before and after. So just a little bit smoothing. You can apply this to other elements as well. One thing right here, you can see, and I'll go switch this to 30% opacity, so for the faster. And actually just reuse this. This will be some different lighting, but with the smoothness, I want to remove some of this grid kind of effect, creating a little bit more like light smudge almost. Don't know what, meteor, whatever we can create, but it definitely now will last like this. We can do same around here. Little bit smoothness. We don't need too much, but just an effect. This may also work if you have it reflection, other things. And as I said before, if we come closer, let's say to 10% opacity on our brush, we can go inside and smooth around this area, because just dots. Okay, so we hide that element there, and we can go on another side. And just move out this element as well. Okay, if you're worried about some sparkle here, same things, we can go smoother, but usually because it is have this kind of metallic texture, we don't want to apply it, we want to preserve some of this texturing here. Okay, I think at this time it's look good, so let's go next. I want to work a little bit with the hair, and we'll press Ctrl Shift Alt E, Command Option Alt E to take all, create new layers. Let's call it, don't need it, options, we'll call it hair. And we're going to filter. That was my filter, stylize, and we're going to oil painting. And oil painting will just see stylization 10, clearance 10. Usually we just want this clean hair. Scale 1, brush 01, and lighting, let's go put it 130, about from sun direction. We'll click OK, and we'll go next, filter, sharpen, and we'll go to unsharp mask just to add more defined texturing. Amount about 180, 190 should work just fine. Okay, we don't want to apply this everywhere, so for this we'll same, hold the Alt or Option and click on creating black mask. With 10% opacity, we can go closer now to our subject. You can see just clean up a little bit eyebrows, and mostly what I want to do is on a hair. So it is creating, when we photo shoot, because noise, digital noise on the hair, it's create cross line. With these techniques, it just remove some of this, follow the fiber kind of look, and it's creating very much look like brush. I see right here some fingerprint, you can see. So we'll fix this in a second. There you go, because we applied this brush. And it's kind of playing with that. Okay, these techniques also work very good on if you have it fur, or you have it artificial flowers, like in another case I was doing. So you can use the same techniques to hide that. Okay, and example, if lines, what I found out sometimes, like right here, you can add a little bit on the stitching just to smooth it, kind of create a little bit more painting effect. You can see how they bend together. Like right here, we have it, remove some stitching, so we can add, it's add micro texturing, okay, to this. It's what's happening. and it's help kind of almost like blend together. One thing keep in mind, because it's so small, some you maybe won't pay attention, but of course I will, so it's the reason why I'm putting right there. Okay, so I think the next step we want to create some dodge and burn effect. So usually this is approximately 3 steps there. Well, 4 steps: touch up, smoothness, hair, and dodge and burn. So in dodge and burn we fill up with 50% gray, normal opacity 100% on the layer. And this is not environmental dodge and burn, this is just on a model to add shape. We'll do environmental later. So we'll have it click on the blending mode to the soft light, and we'll take 10% brushes, same soft brushes, and we'll just start adding shadows a little bit and highlights. Don't worry about has a red color, we'll add this a little bit later. Right now this is purely just to help us define a little bit better on shape. And I'm using X key to flip right here. You can see with our color we can switch between foreground, background, and I'm working between white and black color, so when I do this it switch for me between my dodge and burn effect. Okay, and dodge and burn you can use a different some people use clear level mode, not necessarily 50% gray. Some people use different ones, so it's up to you, whatever you prefer. It's have benefits on both, and as well some people think negative, so it's up to you what you like it. So for me this way works just fine. We'll go add a little bit more shadowing around here, but this is will come back when we start doing a little bit more environmental effect. Okay, and let's zoom out and look before and after, just a little bit add shape, not too much. Okay, I think we're kind of almost ready, and this is our prepared model. So next what we want to do, it is add some background to this and work on it. I have sometimes 3D background, but for now we're going to use the background that I downloaded from Envato Elements, and I have multiple different fun backgrounds. I think this maybe work very good. I'll just set dunes kind of like this around here, and the reason is she's kind of a little bit will be in a cold, maybe more cyan, and background will be warmer, so we'll play with those colors. Okay, let's switch this normal blend mode to soft light, and you can see how well reapplied. And I'm just looking for maybe around here. There you go, the lines. I'm just looking for the lines so they kind of fit together. Okay, you can see soft light mode is applied and it is almost blending on it, but I don't want to apply at her, so I want to apply in some other elements of this one. We'll hold down Alt or Option and click on a mask to hide our background. We'll take our brush, let's switch to 50% opacity on the white, and we can brush in. Okay, this is kind of more fun part, and the best parts we don't really worry too much about if we're brushing a little bit over, like for example her suit. Let's see, the reason is why, because it actually benefit us. You'll notice it is have some color casting, it's almost like reflective, and in this case it's worked very well. So we actually will go overlay later with more coloring on her suit, but right now it is look very nice. It's blending much easy, and that's why reason why I like overlay, because it does help us blend edges very simple and very effectively. Okay, so let's go right here, and on a helmet we'll look in a second. Let's go right there. Okay, we can even blend more sometimes if you want it. I think maybe even 100%. So let's go ahead with 100%. There you go. We'll just go 100%. Very easy, faster way to do it. Look right there on the helmet. I just gone out, leave it inside, and it just perfectly fit. We do need to add some elements in the background, and I'll show you in a second what we're going to do. And it's actually blending. If you step a little bit over, like right here, maybe too much, okay, we'll zoom in, press X to go to black, and we can just also reduce this amount of the blending. Okay, let's go get white, and we can add it. So overall it is, if we done hard edge, maybe about same time. Sometimes it's work better. With a hair where you have huge benefits, it's when you work around here. So let's go to 40%, and we'll just add slightly more. Okay, see how with the hair, this is where we get all our benefits now on this, on the blending. So now it's look like it's belong there. Okay, on a helmet, we don't want total transparency, yes, so we want to kind of play with this, and for that we'll press X, 10%, so make again kind of like darker. So we're going to remove some of those elements. Let's just return a little bit non-transparent, and let's work better if we do this on a kind of like corners elements, because if we look on a helmet, and helmet does have edges like a little bit more non-transparent. So it's what we're going to do. We'll just add grayish like to the edges. So that's transparent there, and a little bit more transparent on the middle. Okay, so next let's go add a little bit more to her suit, because if we look on her outfit, it is reflective. So what I'm going to do is select it, same image, they just have it, just drag and drop. Okay, what I'm with this, we don't necessarily need copy, so I'm just rotating. It will be different. We don't see the reflection. Putting maybe around the cover, just cover her, going modify, and let's switch to soft light. And we also want to do is go to filter, blur, and we're going to Gaussian blur. We'll just need blur a little bit out. Okay, this we don't need to apply everywhere, so we'll go have press Alt and create mask. We'll take our brush and we'll just apply this with a white on okay, let's go brush white just on her suit, like where it could be reflective. So if I want on a gold elements, maybe right here. So all we're doing now with soft lights is kind of nice, because it is have it a shadow highlights, but it's also have it for us information for color casting, and it's what we're using. Actually, we're using this color casting information, so we can have it. And if you look, this is where we're kind of applying around. Okay. You know, we can apply a little bit more on some elements, and it's also help us to blend a little bit better. Okay, before and after, just a little bit color modification. Okay, next things on the helmet, you can see it's a straight light going. I don't necessarily like this for the background, so I'm going to do is select circle, just go around, like maybe around here. Okay, next we'll go select our layer below. This is our background, and I'm going Command Control C, Control Command V, copy paste, so we just have this circle. Okay, let's go next, hold down Control or Command and click on a circle, so it will select it, and we'll go to Filter, Distort, and we're going to Spherize. Okay, Spherize, we go to bring a little bit out, 100%, click OK, and you can see it's kind of, see how this line is changed. This is what's probably more helping with our helmet. However, I think in this case, Filter, Distort, Spherize, it actually should go in opposite direction, so it should go punch in kind of like this little bit because it's on a background. And we can actually do this one more time to emphasize this effect for us. Maybe too much on the bottom. Let's undo this. Yeah, I think this will work better. Okay, so let's go and check. Again, we'll go to, can go to soft light if we need it. Right there. And we can also now paint this effect instead other ones. Let's go click again to hide, and in our helmet on this case, because I don't want duplicated of this effect, X, we give it black color, opacity 60%. I want kind of like hide a little bit around her hair, just a little bit right there. Okay, and now we can go layer above, switch to the white, 30%, and we can paint in. All what it actually does, it's give it a little bit distortion. Mostly we have it lines on the back. It will help us to create almost like this change. And you can see mountains right here. It's not so high details, but in some cases we do want to create those details. So it just help us give it perception like it's a glass, some effect right there. Okay, let's add some of the lighting, mostly in a helmet like around there. And we'll go and create new layer. And let's go call it light. Okay, we'll go switch these ones to soft light as well. And we can experiment. What I mean by experiment, we can take a like red color, okay, on a brush, and try to brush in just to see which one, if it's red, will look better. I don't right now care too much about accuracy. We'll switch this a little bit later, but so we can have it like red coming from theirs. But other ones also we can have, let's go to delete this red. I will leave it red right now so we can compare. So we'll have another light. But in this case, let's go switch to cyan. To switch to cyan, let's say this way, if we have a brush and we're going to take our color of background, let's go say this color, and our wheel, we are around this color here. So I want to opposite of this, and an easy way to do it's 360 degrees our wheel. So if I want opposite complementary, I just need 180. So in this case, it will be 212, and this is where my color complementary will reside. So I can go ahead and paint with this, except I maybe want to add a little bit saturation up slightly. Okay, and then I can go ahead and switch to the soft light as well on this. And we can try maybe add blue, but now, you know what, red I think was looking better. But overall, here's you can figure out how you work with complementary colors and other stuff. Okay, but I will still leave it this blue light, blue color. Okay. And you know what, let me go ahead and delete this coloring. I just did it, but with this soft light, that blue as I selected, I maybe just want to add a little bit to the highlights, 10% soft, to her outfit. And mostly it's just to create kind of offset warmer cold, nothing really. And if it's too much, we always can take way down, just leave it a little bit. Let's go back to our red color. Okay, and we can add a little bit more. And if I'm right, we had just pure red this color. Then maybe too high. Let's go take down to about 5%. And just add a little bit right there on the chin. A little bit on the nose, kind of like going out of helmet. So we'll just add a little bit around there. And on a gun. You know, 10% maybe was faster a little bit. Okay, a little bit on the tube. I'm just looking weights that can be reflection, you know what I mean, from helmet. Let's go move a little bit up. Add a few touches here. Oh, we have one red, and for this, you know, sometimes if you put it in the wrong place, like right here, we can also just take eraser if you need it, or you can always just take a mask and hide, but I think eraser will work better. Okay, and I'm just going to erase my accidents. Okay, we'll go set 10%, very soft eraser, and just take a little bit down in some of those areas. I think we don't need to be. Kind of slow down a little bit, because the lights how transmit from here. Same, we'll go erase a little bit more, and maybe a little bit on her cheeks slightly, but I want to cast softness. But you can see it's nice things, it's non-destructive, so we can easy to work back and forth with that. Okay, let's see what we have. Then this was before and after. I think just add a little bit more interesting point, color point to this. We can go ahead and try to play maybe a little bit down. I think around there will work. Okay, so we have our two lights now. I think ready to create, we want to add something to the sun. So this is, we can add any different textures if you want to find. I'm just going to drag and drop different image again from Envato Elements, and mostly I'm just looking for this bright spot of sun. Press OK. Let's go switch this to soft light overlay. Let's go with overlay mode. Okay, and I'm just going set reposition, and I'm just looking on the lights bright how it will affect. Okay, go ahead, create alter option, mask, take our brush and start brushing in slightly. So all what we do is just brushing right elements. We also can have it just a sun if you want it, and replace this with a sun. Let's actually do this. This probably will look better. And we'll just go ahead. I have it same, just a sun right there. Okay. Again, just maybe position so it will look alike. Okay, there you go. We don't need one that we have before, and these ones we can switch to, let's go soft light overlay. Yeah, let's go switch to overlay, and kind of matching slightly this area. There you go. And again, we'll go take our brush, hide alt, and with a white color we can brush in. So it's just helping a little bit. If you still feel it's too much, remember we can go on a back, create new layer, take color, and just simple painting over a little bit this area. So we can actually do like this if you need it. But I think this is a little bit too strong, so I want to create one there. I'm not sure if I like this or not. You know what? Maybe it's need to blur. Let's go blur, Gaussian blur on this one, because yeah, it definitely needs blurring. It just help a little bit with coloring, and maybe switch from overlay to strong, go to soft light, a little bit lighter, and yeah, let's remove this one. We don't need it in this case. Highlight, but it is just help us create white spot. Yeah, I think that one will look way better. Okay. This we still have it lines going in, and we can actually fix this, create new layer. Let's go call it fixes. Okay, and the same, if you need, we can take brush and just a little bit go over to kind of try to hide. Just create, I don't know what this will become, but there you go, something, you know, hide those lines a little bit off. And of course we can hide them also by painting over the images. So for example, we have our, okay, this is our reflections, this is our helmet, so we can go inside the helmet a little bit more, take a brush on the mask, be sure with a mask, and we can just kind of brushing in more here, and brushing also by the sound. Just add all of these elements. Okay, next what I want to do is add a little bit smoke to the gun, and let's go to create brush, white, 100%, right click, and I'm going to use that smoke, round smoke. We'll just select one. Okay, that will work. Okay, 100% zero, so we want to do this, and let's create new layer up on the top. There you go. Yeah, we want white color, something like right there. And you can play with different type of smoke, maybe, you know, bigger, smaller, but I think this is kind of nice. Okay, we'll go to add a smoke. Let's create new layer, and this will be our global dodge and burn. We'll go fill up with 50% gray, switch to the soft light, and we'll just take our brush, soft round, okay, 10% black. Usually I start with the black, and I'm just start adding kind of almost vignetting. Okay, we could produce also lights if you need it. For example, switch from the light and just going to like almost imagine the sun from this area, and feel like a sun streak is coming right there on her face from this area. Okay, let's create brighter effect. And now we can switch back darker and add. So all what we playing also beside coloring, we're playing with lighting. So it's a light is what give it a shape. Okay, a little bit darker in the corner. Okay, next we have a couple interesting effects I want to use it. And they not part of Photoshop, but I'll just show you what they can do for us. So one is will be coloring. We'll go use the filter Forge with Special, but another one is Anoric. And I like this one because it's help us create quite a bit nice lens flare. So let's go click on Generate. Okay, and you can see we have it by default we have the already blur applied, so it's before and after. It's nice glowing effect. We have different options on new versions. We have streaks we can do, so it will just create a line streaks. We're also going to have it different like cross or bloom, some all of those effects as well. And I think maybe I want like just simple glowing. So let's see how that strikes. See, like right there, lines kind of going. This may work in sci-fi, some other ones, but I think right here we'll just go with a bloom. Okay, and I'm switching to X-ray mode to see where we have it hot. Then you can see where's a hot spot, which is okay. We could also enable colorization as well, but I don't know if this colorization will work well. We could just add yellow colorization a little bit to those bloom effect. Then it's all created. But I think overall, just slightly take down on the blooming on the highlights, because I think we lose some information that I don't want to lose in those areas. And we can look at this. Okay, let's go to switch hue a little bit more to the yellow color, like a sun warm. And I think this is what we're going with. Also cyan, we'll add this in the post, in the shadows I will add a little bit more cyan color. Okay, and let's go just to reduce a little bit of the intensity of the lighting as well. So this way, and intensity, we just need to take slightly down intensity in this case. And threshold, I think threshold was okay, maybe just a little bit lower. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit preserve the information. Let's go just take a little bit threshold down, and most important, exposure a little bit too high. Okay, and right here we'll take exposure and bring it down around here. Okay, and we can actually preview just a little bit. Yep, nice glowing. Okay, when we're done, let's save this as a glow level layer for us. Okay, so it's done. Nice things about this, it's a non-destructive creating layer, smart object, so we can modify if we need it. Let's go press Ctrl-Shift-Alt-E, Command-Option-Alt-E to create new layer. And this will be our filter forge layer. And I'm going to filter forge. We'll go to filter forge 11. And I'm going to use actually one of the filter that I created. It's a phototone with some preset on the cyan red. So it's what I wanted, this kind of adjustments. We can go inside the settings and also modify. I don't think I want this red. Remember, I want actually a little bit more cyan, so I'll go bring down red. But when we're going in cycles, so we're going to move from red or cyanish, we're going to move a little bit more inside the kind of our bluish, I think, or colder color on this case. So let's go to this, and it's right here, adjustments. Let's click and go up that cyan. We'll go opposite direction. There you go. And I think we need to add a little bit more in a green tone. There you go. So it's a little bit kind of like the coloring. Let me see also if we're going. Actually, I like this color a little bit better. And this is what I like about some filter forge. You can play a little bit more, of course, with the coloring. I think this color is more interesting. Color is very subjective, you know, it's your personal choice. That it's what you decide which one is working for you, because in some cases you may think that red may work better, warmer, or other things, but I think this is work okay. So we'll go ahead, click apply. Okay, and you can see actually it's quite a bit on color change we have it. If it's too strong, we can always take opacity and we can play something between this warmer and colder, kind of like this, and maybe about 70%. The other options, we can also go ahead and create selective colors. And in selective colors, we're going from black, white, and neutral. And here we can just take a little bit shadowing, blue in our colder. And this is usually very cold colors is going, yeah, like this one. So we're going colder in a darker and a warmer in a neutral a little bit more. Around there, neutral. Let's go to whites. This is our whites, and yeah, we can actually add quite a bit warmer. And this one, then we can play between all this. So if you don't have it filtered for it, you can do kind of similar in what we've done in our selective colors. Okay, and this is more depth on the red. Probably I want to add a little bit more depth to this one. Yeah, I think around there. Definitely a little bit in a yellowish. So just play around with the color, see which one is working. But color does bring additional effect or mood in this case. Next, what I want to do is create new layer, and this will be grain. I usually restore grain because we did all this moving, we did all these manipulations. We have a background with one grain versus model with a total different grain in our film. So in this is, we'll just create one, we'll fill with 50% gray. We go to filter, noise, add noise, 5%. Let's go ahead, click OK, and switch to the soft light. So right here you can see we have our image done. I think at this point, of course, we just need to go ahead, type in whatever you like it. Okay, and we're just going to select it and make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I don't need this type. I just need create smaller, shrink down. And it's depend where do you like to put it. Usually or I will hide. I may even put it as a label around there, or if you don't want, you can just put on the side. And usually I say I'm kind of, you can read, but it's there, so it does not take attention from all image, just from this area. Okay, let's go ahead and take our all modifications, group them, cause retouching. Okay, and we can see this was before and after. So we was using blending mode, overlay or soft light to add background. And if background, again, if background may be sharp a little bit too much, we can always go and actually blur out this background if we need it. But I think that work in this case as the drawing or illustrations I was going after, actually it's worked very well because I want sharp everything. But how say if you want it, you can make blur out before and after. So I hope you found this video is interesting and have fun to follow, create your own image. If you like to support my work, please join the Patreon supporters, and I have a lot of backgrounds, tools, and other things for my patrons so they can use it in the work. Some like images, like these backdrops, and other ones you can find the custom created. As well, subscribe to the channel, give us thumbs up, so help me promote my videos. I greatly appreciate if you help me with this, and enjoy creating your work. Thank you for watching this video.